What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk to you about Opendoor. I want to go over some of the data points, break it down on what's really moving it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So it is up 8.36%, 329 the low, 395 the high. So absolute crazy day. I'm going to break it down on what is really causing all of this in a second, but a lot of volume. So 302 million shares being traded, 326 is the average. Nothing official though from Opendoor. So no news, no SEC filings or anything like that. Just a lot of speculation, and a lot of that has to do with who's going to be the new CEO and just rate cuts. I think that at the same time has been really driving hype with not just Opendoor, but the broader market. And so on a side note, just so you're aware, there hasn't been any macro data points to really push the broader market higher either. But at the time of doing this video, shorts are increasing 587,000 shares. That is net. At its peak, they were increasing around 5.4 million. So they've been fairly active today. Of course, I think just given everything, they're not really the biggest driving factor today. That's more under the algorithmic trading, which I'll kind of go over in a second. But 23.1% of the free floats being shorted works out to be 151.4 million shares overall are being shorted. So definitely interesting price action. And I would have anticipated, based on, again, the price action, shorts to have been returning a lot more than kind of how this is all playing out. So it's a very interesting day. Quickly going over the flow, you can kind of see that through the smaller transactions. A lot of people always assume that is retail, but that's not. Possibly for the inflow, but the out, that is algorithmic trading. So you are literally seeing a battle unfold today. So you are seeing, for the most part, shorts increasing a small amount. You're having algorithmic trading really trying to suppress Opendoor. And then you are having retail buying alongside, as you can kind of see, some smaller and medium-sized players. But you are seeing a battle right now. Very volatile, and most likely for the foreseeable future, it will be continuing to be volatile, but very interesting kind of data. And this is why I always like to look at the data behind the scenes versus headlines. So again, just kind of interesting stuff. So let me know your viewpoint on that in the comments below. While I'm actually on here, like I've mentioned, algorithmic trading is usually something that's left for the bigger players, but through Moomoo, you're actually allowed to do algorithmic trading as a retail investor. So I'm going to be doing a deeper dive into this on a dedicated video, most likely for Friday. So if you're interested in this, let me know in the comments below. And one thing that you can do kind of ahead of the time is just sign up for a Moomoo account, and that way you'll be able to have access to that. And there's a pretty good promo on a side note where if you do deposit only $100, you get 50% back. So pretty kick-ass if you ask me. So link to this in the description below. So make sure you guys sign up before Friday, and then that way you have kind of access and everything. But looking at the options, moving on from there, 47 million in calls, 6.59 million in puts. So you're still seeing a lot of big money getting into Opendoor. And of all the transactions being done today, 52% are bullish in nature. So big money definitely does feel that there's more upside. And as I mentioned, aside from algorithmic trading really suppressing Opendoor, you do have a lot of the medium to large players in the game really feeling like there's more upside. So they are buying alongside retail. So again, data behind the scenes does insinuate that there is more upside. Coming from a bull standpoint, you see the consensus for it to be kind of between that $4 to $5 range. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub $2.50 to $3. So like I said, you are going to see a battle. Polar opposites, so bears are anticipating kind of an extreme move down, and bulls are kind of anticipating a extreme move higher. So it is going to be very interesting the next couple of trading days. But aside from that though, you are seeing a lot of transactions both on the secondary market and also dark pool. So again, further validates that a lot of institutions are trading Opendoor, and for it being a momentum play, in my opinion, you need that. You need a large inflow of capital, and that is why you get these extreme moves. On a technical standpoint, with it at 346, it is trading between this R1 and the pivot. I'm looking at the 4-hour chart on a side note. So 287 is going to be a strong support, hasn't even been tested. So I think just the thing that's in sight right now is this 349. So best case scenario, Opendoor does close above that. And if so, referring over to that 1-day chart, then most likely you will be seeing 414 in the next couple trading days. And then once you hit that, it'll be easily $5 and $6. And I know I've kind of mentioned this in the past, how some individuals are assuming it's $100 and $200 is coming. I don't really see that happening unless you see like a mother of all short squeeze type of scenario, but wishful thinking, of course. Can't really hate on them for wanting that. Nonetheless, though, moving on from here, there hasn't really been all that much in articles coming out, just a lot of speculation. No new analyst ratings. So last one did come out, I believe it was like 6 days ago. Analysts, of course, aren't that optimistic on Opendoor. So last couple have been sells, downgrades, $1, $1, 70 cents, 80 cents. Be very interesting to see of these who is short. But until that new SEC transparency rule does kick in place, which I do believe it's supposed to have been, it was actually supposed to have been launched Q1 2024, but obviously things didn't really go according to plan. So I do believe it is destined for the first half of 2026 now, but who knows? Just in case you don't know what that means, the SEC transparency rule does indicate that anyone shorting has to disclose their position, any institutions, through their 13Fs. Interesting point, though, is because these 13Fs right now, if a institution is shorting, that's voluntary if they disclose that. Long positions, they have to, but short is completely up to them. So very sketchy stuff. So hopefully that new transparency rule does kick in place. It would cause a lot of heavily shorted stocks to probably go up quite a lot, in my opinion. But aside from all of that, though, if you want me to do a little bit more of a deeper dive into that and explain it more, I can definitely do that in a following video. But aside from all of that, though, on the actual chart, it is above that super trend indicator, above all the other key pivotal moving averages, above the ALMA. So that also does signal that it wants to kind of push higher. Stochastic RSI, you see it rather overdone. Nothing really wrong with that. Some stocks can stay overbought for quite some time, but if there is a first sign of weakness, whether it be specific to Opendoor or the broader market, you could see some negative volatility. So just be aware of that. But I think generally speaking, things are looking pretty a-okay, no different than what I mentioned in my video yesterday. So let me know your thoughts on Opendoor. Have you been buying? Have you been selling? Do you realistically feel that it'll get to like 10, 100, 20? What is your exit price if you have it? I know some people are very much diamond hand and they want to hold forever. I'm not really that mentality. Like, I think just a lot of people now regret once that whole AMC kind of run up that did happen. A lot of people didn't take profits because they wanted to kind of fight the man and do all that stuff. I think nowadays, if you were to ask a lot of them, I'm sure some of them would have a different thought pattern on that, on how taking profits and whatever else. But everyone has different thoughts on that. Some people want to exit at $10. Some people are probably already exited, and that's completely fine. As long as you make money, that's all that matters, in my opinion. Again, you guys do whatever floats your boat. With that said, I appreciate all you watching. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.